It's finally happening. After 45 years, Marvel and DC are teaming up again to reunite Superman and Spider-Man in the ultimate crossover no one thought would ever return. At the same time, Marvel is stirring up its own storm with Sue Storm's dark comeback as the Invincible Woman. And this time, malice is everywhere, even inside Marvel rivals. Maybe this is smart business. Or maybe it's Marvel and DC admitting that nostalgia is the only thing that brings fans back.
The direct market is struggling. Companies are not meeting their sales expectations. For the most part, conversations around comic books are all but dead at the moment. They need something to get people to talk.
For the first time in 45 years, Marvel and DC have confirmed that Superman and Spider-Man will reunite in a brand new crossover event arriving in 2026. This will only be the third time the two icons have ever teamed up, with the last happening way back in 1981. The companies are calling it the Ultimate Dream Project, tapping into decades of fan speculation and demand for another historic team-up between the Man of Steel and the Wallcrawler. It's not just another crossover. This is being positioned as a once-in-a-generation event meant to remind readers of what's possible when Marvel and DC actually collaborate.
Superman is DC Comics, and Spider-Man is Marvel Comics, because this is the one that everybody wanted. When we talked about Deadpool Batman a couple of weeks ago, the thing we said is, where is Spider-Man Superman? Because that's the one. It's nice to see DC and Marvel doing the thing that the audience actually wants.
I'm excited. Obviously we don't know the creative teams, we don't know the writers, we don't know the artists. I'm assuming it's going to be the same format as the Batman Deadpool crossover, where you get a one shot at Marvel. A month or two later, you get a one shot at DC Comics with a bunch of backup stories. So I'm very interested to see who these creators could be. But right off the bat, Spider-Man and Superman teaming up, I'm excited no matter basically who you put on the book.
This is playing with house money. You're going to run into the same problem you did at Batman Deadpool, which is Marvel doesn't have really much talent to write home about, to put on this book, which is going to be the unfortunate situation here. But it wouldn't shock me to see a DC pick like a Mark Waid. I don't know who Marvel would do.
My assumption is it's going to be Jonathan Hickman, because he's their one A-lister yet. But if they wanted somebody that had written maybe some Superman in his life, they do have access to Phil Kennedy Johnson, who still works at DC and Marvel at the same time. Maybe not a big enough name, but they did put Zeb Wells on the last book, and he's not a big name at all.
Oh, you know who might actually make sense at Marvel? Have JMS on it. He's done Superman work. Yes, it's not really very much liked. And he obviously has a long history with Spider-Man, some of which is very much also not liked. But he is at least a name that they could put on a book like this. I'd love to see a Dan Mora doing the DC version of it, and Ryan Ottley on the Marvel version, or Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness has been doing a lot of Spider-Man recently. He obviously has a long history doing Superman. I'd be fine with a JMS Ed McGuinness. Here's the thing. I don't know if it really even matters who they have on that book. Yes, that'll help, but you don't have to have a million variants. You don't have to even have super marquee talent.
You are
on
crazy if you think there's not going to be a million variants.
No. No, that's not my point. They are definitely going to do that, and they're going to try to get quote unquote marquee talent. My point is, I don't think that matters to getting it sold. And I don't think that they realize how much it doesn't matter to selling a brand new Superman, Spider-Man crossover book. Everyone is going to buy it, regardless of the variants, regardless.
But Doc, are you going to buy it 5 times?
That's the goal. I mean, this is the one that actually might sell 1 million copies.
If they did it right, I think they could.
Yeah. Now, granted, they're going to do it by selling everyone the same copy 10 times, though.
In blind bags.
Yes.
To build excitement for this new story, Marvel and DC are also reissuing the first 2 crossovers in 2026 as special Treasury Edition facsimiles. Kicking things off in January will be a 50th anniversary edition of Superman vs. The Amazing Spider-Man #1 from 1976. followed into February by a reprint of Marvel Treasury Edition 28, which originally hit in 1981. Both will be released under the shared DC and Marvel Present banner, giving modern readers and longtime collectors alike a chance to revisit the legendary foundations of this crossover legacy before the heroes take the stage together again. And I'm almost as excited for this as well. I think this is a great thing. I love Treasury Editions, and it feels like they're getting a comeback in 2025, 2026.
I think it's good to re-release these. There's a lot of folks out there that don't necessarily want to pay the back issue prices. Hell, I might buy it just to have a reader copy.
Yeah, you get the Jerry Conway, Ross Andrew fucking Spider-Man, Superman team up. It's a fantastic book.
Yes, it is.
But this definitely is also playing into that nostalgia field. It feels like anytime people are getting excited outside of maybe Absolute Universe, it always has that nostalgia factor to it these days.
I mean, it's kind of a unintended lesson that we see here, that it's nostalgia bait to just give people what they want. But whatever it takes to actually sell a fucking comic, isn't it?
Yeah, because I hear all these rumors of Marvel Comics specifically, that they're in this weird limbo. They're not sure what's going to happen. They know that there's going to be a change, but Disney hasn't come down and really said what they are going to do at Marvel Comics. And they're just kind of waiting to find out. And this is them kind of spinning their wheels, filling time until they find out what they're actually going to be doing moving forward.
If you're going to kill time, killing it with ideas that people actually want, it's probably not a bad idea.
In Fantastic Four #6, Marvel is reintroducing a dark take on Sue Storm by transforming her into the Invincible Woman, a powerful alternate universe version of the Invisible Woman that echoes her classic Malice persona. Driven mad by secret cosmic messages embedded in reality, Sue becomes the most wanted hero in the universe, drawing the attention of Galactus, while the rest of the Fantastic Four contend with alien invasions and threats at home. The issue also leans into cross-platform hype by introducing a redeem code for an in-game Malice Will Rule spray in Marvel Rivals, connecting the comic story to the digital game world and turning Sue's return to darkness into a multimedia event.
The messaging on this is so fucking weird. Not every evil Sue Storm is Malice. Comic book
But
media.
the one that John Byrne did, the greatest Fantastic Four run of all time, or in consideration, with Stan and Jack, was Malice, and they're trying to, hype it up.
Malice originally was a little bit more subdued than this. This is, like straight up bondage Sue Storm. Hey, look, I'm a pervert and all, so don't really bother me that much.
This is what's confusing you. This is a comic book not being published for you or me, comic book readers. This is a comic book that is being published so people can redeem in-game skins or codes or whatever to put Malice in their Marvel Rivals game, which is far more popular than Marvel Comics right now. It's basically what DC Comics did with Fortnite.
But they're also still trying to find a way to sell it to us comic readers.
Because they want to be able to add, the money to their bottom line and say, look, we grew sales.
Yeah,
180,000 sales of Fantastic Four #6, just out of the blue. So if you can sell this to Marvel Rivals fans, you don't need comic fans.
I was going to say, if you sell it to comic fans, you don't really need Marvel's Rivals fans, except for there's a whole hell of a lot more Marvel Rival fans than there are comic book fans.
There's Fantastic Four #5 will be sold to comic fans, and it will sell far less than Fantastic Four #6.
You hope that as a kind of tertiary, second or third order effect here, that you can convert 1 in 5 of those guys to a 1 in 100 of the video game fans to decide to buy a comic book.
I don't think that's their goal at all. I think they know that will never happen. This is just to spike sales to meet their quarterly estimates.
I'm looking at really, really silver linings.
Yeah, you're
that
happens.
Yeah, if that happens, if they can convert 1 in 100 of those video game players to actually buying comics regularly because of a cool story attached to it, but ultimately it's just about getting one pop in one quarter.
But the thing is, Doc, if they really wanted to convert, these fans into comic books, they would put a good writer on the book. This is a Ryan North book.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's going to come in cold, never read a comic book, open up a Ryan North book, and stick around.
Yeah, Probably.
Certainly, nostalgia is the word of the day, and it's all about gimmicks right now. I, for one, am very excited for Spider-Man Superman. We'll see what happens with the Invincible Woman, but I don't think that's going to turn a lot of people over to Marvel Comics and supporting this Fantastic Four run. If you would like the entire conversation, because we did edit this down for the YouTubes, and you would like our entire X-Men Age Revelation Overture #1 review, you do need to go to Patreon and channel memberships, the Doc Unfiltered podcast live right now.